This is just going to be a quick review on how, high MMR players are going to be playing support. This is a game from Division 1 Mini. I'm on the top team here, and we're up against the bright side, dark team, etc. So again, we're going to be focusing on the supporting. We'll focus on both the Nyx Assassin and the Witch Doctor at different points of the replay because those are both heroes that our team picks. And I will show you what I am hoping for. Obviously, it's unfair to compare your play to my play, but what I do is not extremely hard in this game. You can definitely emulate it to some extent. Especially Witch Doctor, like I had pointed out, I'm like ranked 60 Witch Doctor in the world. And I really just don't know why. Like it's really not that hard. There's 3 things that bad Witch Doctors do. That 4 things. I'll say 4 things. And that is they throw their stun immediately, so that there's no chance to bounce. They never turn on their heal. They miss freehand Maledicts, and they don't know how to either use their ulti or they never switch target with their ulti, because you can change target on this. It is easy to fuck that up because you could accidentally cancel your ulti if you don't have this setting on already turned on, and that is right here in options. Channeled abilities require stop. This way you can never accidentally turn off your ulti unless you press stop, in which case that would presumably not be an accident. Alright, starting items. 6 tangos, 2 of which you give to your mid. Salve, because you're always going to need your salve your carry at some point. Ring of Protection is like the new stout shield, and it works for ranged heroes, so it's fine. You could have gone like maybe a little bit more stats or something like that. Fairy Fire and wards. This is exactly like pretty much optimized as far as how you can spend your money. The only thing you could consider is like, do I want something like a headdress? After the Arteezy stream, those couple of days, most carries are going the headdress, and the Morphling will be going headdress in this game. It makes sense, obviously, because the core is going to farm the headdress way faster. Let's just do some really quick math on headdress. It's going to regen 2 HP a second times 2 heroes. Let's say the landing stage lasts together a minimum, I'm always very generous, so I'm not exaggerating, 5 minutes. Let's say a minimum of 5 minutes together. That's 300 seconds. That's 600 heal, except for let's not forget there's 2 heroes. So that's 1200 heal over that 5 minutes. That's insane. So now the core usually is the one going the headdress. Sometimes the 4 can go the headdress, but again, the 4 probably wants something like Orb of Venom or Move Speed in the case of a Clockwork, which we played in Game 1 and also won easily, or what have you, Mangoes. Anyway, let me just slightly run. So going for level 1 invades, this has fucked us really, really hard. The stuns are always going to be in front. So right now both stuns are in front, and I'm going to be the one going first because mine's the only one that's guaranteed to hit, so it's just easier for me to go first for the Nyx. Now these, again, this is a 6k over 6k average game, so they're not bad. They immediately split, and then he blinks away without letting there be any opportunity for any follow-up. So it's fine, no big deal. Now in our games, usually I see us wait and just TP back down bottom. That is an advantage for going a little bit earlier as opposed to later, is that if it doesn't work out, you can not have to TP, you can just walk. And that's what's going to happen in this situation. I am just going to walk. Now I do have a sentry. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ward here. We've talked about this spot. This is very common. They're just going to go over here and they're going to ward this spot right here. It doesn't work this game. And they do it on the other side. Always hard to play those mind games. I did ward this side last game. So again, it's just a constant mind game. But I'll take a 50-50 on a D-ward. I have no problem with taking a 50-50 on a D-ward. And they ping me past that as well. No way for me to know that, so I do miss my D-ward. Now, that concept of 50-50s is really important to Witch Doctor because you'll see me take every 50-50 or better in this game pretty much. I'm paralyzing cask. So what do I mean by 50-50 or better? So if there were 2 creeps and the enemy hero, that's a 50-50 or better because you're going to hit the enemy hero. It's going to bounce to a creep. Then it's going to bounce either to the other creep or the enemy hero. Paralyzing Cask is very bad if you only hit the enemy hero once. Obviously, it's extremely RNG, so what I'm doing is I'm just trying to minimize the RNG to the best of my ability. And you'll see us work together to do that. If you don't bounce it off anything, we're talking a 1 second stun that does 50 damage for 110 mana. That's fucking awful, obviously. At a 20 second cooldown, no less. But if you hit twice, we're talking 100 damage to 2 second stun. That's actually quite good. And you know, once we get levels, it just gets even more ridiculous if you get lucky / if you played your outs. Now this trade, there's actually this looks very basic, but it's really not. So I'm gonna hit because that's what you do. You hit people as the support. Now notice where I'm hitting from. I see you guys, you're in lane, like hitting people, that's terrible. No, you always want to hit from here when possible. If I give these guys like any more reason to be close to the Morphling, that's just a lot of pain for the Morphling. It's just he's going to get charged, he's going to lose more HP. You have to lose HP for your carry. That is the #1 most important thing to do as support, is to lose HP so your carry doesn't have to. Obviously, in this case, he's going to lose HP, but he's not like losing as much as he could be. The reason why he's losing HP is obviously because #1, he got charged with Ion Shell for the opening bounty runes, and then #2, there's Ion Shell on the wave, so it's pushing into him really hard, so he's losing HP. So there's nothing he can really do about that, but he'll lose even more if I'm fighting them over here, or God forbid, like I've seen us do sometimes, I'm just standing here and not even fighting. That's just disgusting, because if I fight them over here, I'm aggroing the creeps, I'm, you know, making it easier for them to hit the Morphling. They're both melee, so it's still not actually that easy, but I'm fighting them over here, and notice how I walk backwards as I'm fighting, because I'm never going to win a prolonged 1v1 versus the Spirit Breaker, so while I fight, I still fight. I don't just say, oh, Spirit Breaker's got some of the best level 1 stats in the game, compared to me. I instead just back up while I'm fighting. And now I'm going to go over here again, but I'm not going to go too far out and get just a super unfavorable trade or anything. Here I'm going to go ahead and hit him, because what he's trying to do is just block my pole camp. So I am going to not be afraid and just hit him relentlessly there. I do recall I fuck up, and we'll see why not, you know, how I messed up here. I should have eaten this tree, but... so I go for the cask since I had a chance to get 3 hits. That was a 50-50, right? We had 2 heroes and a range creep, so I had a chance to get 2 hits. I didn't get it, and then I kind of like walk around like an idiot. But, you know... by using your life, you're at least causing action, and they overcommit on me. And we would have gotten the Spirit Breaker kill, but I choked super hard here. To be fair, I choked because the Spirit Breaker played so bad. So because I played bad, Spirit Breaker thinks he can kill me. He's wrong. But he thinks he can kill me, so he's going to dive me for a little bit. But he dives me for so long that... which is, again, very wrong. He dives me for so long that I missed my Maledict, because I thought he would have turned around by now. So I missed my Maledict by like a pixel, so... he ends up getting away. Very big mistake by me, but you just see the importance of me using my HP like that. In reality, if I played that better, then it's an easy kill for our Morphling. Well, probably for me, because I would have gotten the kill for the Maledict. But it doesn't really matter, as long as he's dead. So, big mistake by me, but again, just by putting myself out there, again, you should always be conscious of any form of AoE in the lane. This is so important with a Legion Commander. I get very, very triggered when I have a Legion Commander and my support is doing... like standing in the lane with the creeps. You're tripling the effectiveness of an overwhelming odds if you do that, because now it's getting more damage and hitting 2 heroes. You're tripling the effectiveness. It's horrible. So the only AoE they have in this lane is, of course, charge. So at this point I realize, you know, I'm charged. So he goes up and I go down. So now only one of us gets hit with the charge. And again, I'm not scared yet because I have a salve. So I just back up with my salve. And I'm probably going to go straight back to hitting. I would pull if I could, but I can't because he blocked it earlier. But now it has spawned. Again, I'm hitting from over here. It's way harder to aggro the creeps from over here. You do not want to aggro the creeps, if possible. Going for the double denies. So notice how few seconds of this lane the Morphling has been the one in more danger than I have. Very few. I'm either always in front of him, like right now, or I'm taking a trade away from him. He's never the one in more danger, basically. So that's just, this is hopefully pretty basic, but I'm going to point out everything, right? I'm running away while he's walking at me, but as soon as he turns around, I'm going to take the hits. You get my delivery from the courier. Nothing much, just more regen, wards. At this point, I got the mangoes. I don't really get the mangoes early because you might either just die early and not need the mana, and you can just bring them out. You'll never need them right away, really, in theory. On a Witch Doctor, at least. On a Lich, maybe, but not on a Witch Doctor. So I'm just gonna wait to bring those out. Let me take a look at that cask there. I wonder if that had any extra thought behind it. Huh. I think my Morphling just thought he would die if he went for that. I'm not. Let me take a look at that again. Yeah, Morphling might have died if he gone for that. I'm not sure. It would have been close. And when you're the carry, that's your job, is to not be unnecessarily risky. So I'm completely fine with him not going for that. One could maybe I should just not have gone for that. We might have killed him, we might not have. But it is risky, and you want to avoid any risks that aren't necessary as the carry. Now here, I knew this would happen, but again, I'm willing to do anything that I need to get my enemies away from my carry. So I'm going to go ahead and cap the shrine, even though I know I'm going to get Ion Shell charged. That's one less Ion Shell for this lane, and that means he's not getting charged on the Morphling. Now, I've seen some mistakes from us before as far as how you run away. So, the worst thing you can do is just click on your fountain. That is the worst way to run away. You're going to have to think, what is the safest way to get away? Safest way to get away here is going to be just walk into my creep wave. There's usually 4 directions you can go in escaping. You can go either into your team, to your fountain, to your tower, or to your creep wave. Early on, going into your creep wave is quite viable because the creeps actually will help you win trades. Later on, it's obviously not that good. It does always give vision at the very least, so it's, it's never the worst possible thing you could do, but just gonna mana for these runes. Morphling wanted to secure it there too, but notice he didn't stand on top of me to try to do a click fest, because that would be redundant, right? Because the only thing to stop us from getting the runes would be charge, and in which case that would have hit us both anyway. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and get back in the lane. I'm not super sure why I'm here instead of over here right now. That's probably a bit of a mistake. I might have been there because I was trying to hit the Ion Shell creeps and just kind of reduce the HP of the Ion Shell creeps. But yeah, I immediately stopped being there at least, so that's good. And here we go. So out of sight, out of mind. Leave for a quarter of a second, and I come back in. And notice this is huge, right? Remember that Slark game where I was the Slark and you were the Lich? I had to go first on the Underlord and the whatever, basically every single time. And I explained to you, stop making me do that. You have to be the one to go first, because if I go first, they can just hit me the whole time, and it's still gonna end up well most of the time, and it did, but it's caused me to lose all this unnecessary HP and lose a ton of CS and such. So I'm going first. He's not going first, I'm going first. And especially on Witch Doctor, you must go first, because Maledict is only good if you get it out before the damage has been dealt. If you get it out after the damage is dealt, then it's pretty bad. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this 50-50. It's not even a 50-50. I'm not sure if that's in range or not. I don't know. It is a 33% or a 50-50. Well, okay, I guess, this is more complicated math because now it's level 2, so it's not just 50-50 and whatnot. It was at least 50-50 because it was level 2, so whatever. And then I'm going to throw out my Maledict, and he's going to waveform through, and he's just going to die to Maledict. I'm never going to make him go first, because if he has to do his stuff first, Maledict becomes way less good, and again, it's just going to cause him to lose HP. We don't want him to lose HP that he doesn't need to lose, especially since he's a literal Morphling. Obviously, Morphling's supposed to be pretty weak in lane, but again, I think I've done an excellent job of losing HP for him, protecting for him, and getting him, what is this, our second kill? Yeah, our second kill. So, he's fine. He's doing completely excellent in this lane. To be fair, the enemy does have a low skill off lane, and we have a pretty darn high skill safe lane. So this isn't you know, the most fair thing ever. But it's not supposed to, it's not even supposed to be the most fair thing ever in RD2L anyway. Like, our safe lane is going to have some immortal usually, so it's not that unrealistic to do. So at this point, I'm low. I don't want to be around because I don't do very much. But instead of just straight up going home, I'm going to jungle before I go home. Because, like, I should use what little resources I have left to, you know, do something. Either trade or farm. Just do something with what little resources I had left. And I'm looking at mid while I'm going home. There's no need to look at yourself while you're going home. I'm going to buy my items. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to TP middle. And they got it without me. So they didn't even need me. So now what do you do when you TP mid and they end up not needing you? First of all, TP mid. That's step number one. In a lot of these games, there's just no ganks mid. And that's very common up until like 5k MMR at least. I don't know why. But people never gank for mid. There have been a couple ganks mid by the Nyx and 1 or 2 by the Spirit Breaker. So there's been a couple. There's not been as many as you might expect. Again, the off lane is very low skill, so I mean, like, they're high 5k. So, you know, I don't know. The Spirit Breakers didn't roam nearly as much as he should have. But anyway, I end up mid, and my services are no longer needed. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to just wait, obviously. I'm going to go back to where I think I can do something. And we're going to head bottom and just kill this guy twice over. And now what? Am I going to stay there? No, why would I stay there? We just killed him. He's literally dead as we speak. I'm going to ward for our gank. And I'm going to head in here. I wanted to get the bounce off his creep, but it burned right before I threw my cask. So it's going to end up not working out. But they do actually make a nice play to save him. Number one, they cookie back. They TP in 3 people. So this is still a great move, right? We got 3 TPs for only 2 supports, not even TPing. And they actually salved him. The grandma salved the Huskar in between the Maledicts so that he doesn't die to the final Maledict. So good for them. But it's still a great move. We got more out of it than they did. Spirit Breaker's just going to go in like a psycho. Let me see what his mistake was there. I mean, that's just a perfect example of out of sight, out of mind, I guess. The Nyx is just out of sight for literally only 1 second. He's like, oh, Nyx is gone, right? Nope. And neither am I. But I don't really do anything. But again, you miss every shot you don't take. So, whatever. No real big deal. That might be a little bad, to be honest, if the Morphling wasn't already fucking owning. Because then I would have to, like, come bottom with, like, no mana. But no big deal. This one ends up not working. I think we did talk about this. We did purposely do this. So me throwing that cask earlier was bad because it is stopping me from having mana. Now I am completely aware of my situation. I'm waiting for them to give me wand charges so I can cast spells. But it does end up not working. I think the Carapace is too late, as I recall. Yeah, we didn't end up Carapacing, so he gets cookied and disarmed and all that stuff. So and then he just ends up running out of mana for it. So. We just didn't play that very well, so don't work. But again, oh well, there's 5 people middle, or 4 people middle. Only Darkseer is in his lane, so I don't really care. Again, notice how much action we're creating. We're just trying to die for our cores, create action, force all these TPs. Right now we have a slight lead, which is pretty excellent considering, I mean, look at their draft. They have Oscar and Ricky. Like, they're not really late game oriented compared to our Morphling Shadow theme. Alright, so I've talked about this many times. Please stop fucking bringing your courier over here if you don't sentry this. So, I sentried it. And they're here to murder me, but at least now we know, and there's no couriers dying. So this is actually a pretty big moment in the game. So, again, your number 1 priority is the supports. Like, now that the laning stage is pretty much over, especially with how this game has been going. There's just a lot of stupid fighting. Priority number 1 is your spells. Priority number 2 is your position. If you're positioned so safely that you never die, but you don't get off any spells, you might as well be dead. So they initiate on me. First thing I do is use my spells and then run away. I do not run away and then try to use my spells. That's insane. I'm going to tango and try to run to the trees. I level up my my ulti from getting the Maldic kill on the Spirit Breaker. And I let it go. And unfortunately I die a little bit before him. But, you know, there was nothing I could have done. I did my best, and it was obviously extremely worth it. So, again, always get out your spells first, and then position. Obviously, some heroes have a harder time getting out their spells in a meaningful way, like Grimstroke. We don't just throw out Grimstroke ulti on the first thing we could see. In that situation, we would, because you're dead for sure, and also they're really close to each other. But like, let's say your cores are going in for you, and no one's together yet. Then yeah, we don't just throw out Grimstroke ulti. But oh yeah, this is a pretty big outplay here. So you got to be quick with those carapaces. I think he was looking for the animation, because the animation is like, I don't know, 0.4 seconds or something on the shotgun. Definitely humanly possible to react. So he just reflects all that damage, but you know, that's kind of asking a lot for you. But just in general, use it early, because if you use it early, either it's gonna hit and then we know we can go, or it's not gonna hit and we know we can leave. When you just don't fucking use it and they aren't stunned, then it's a shit show and we don't know what's gonna happen now, and it's just bad. If you use it early, we either know that you missed, or you hit and it's great and we killed him. You know. So let me see. I believe this was another TP middle. Yeah, so I'm capping the shrine. I'm going to move my camera middle because I'm watching my map at all times. I'm going to TP right in because I know this is a good fight. Unfortunately, he gets bashed one last time, so he's going to burn to death here from Snapfire, but, you know, 2 for 1. Snapfire ulti used. Again, we're just getting a little something out of every single trade. We're not getting a lot, but we're getting a little bit of something out of every single trade, which is great considering our draft. Okay, here I misplay. I could have ultied, but I consciously chose to maledict. That was a mistake at the end of the day, because the second shotgun blast comes up and I die. I think it ends up mattering too. I'm not sure. I know we killed a Snapfire, but I think we get punished for it. Yeah. Nyx kind of has to die for my mistake there. I should have just let the ulti go. Your cooldown's only 80 seconds on Death Ward. It's very short. Always just let it go once you dodge the stun or once you've already been stunned. So I knew the cookie was down, so I really should have just let it go. It's a huge mistake for me now, too. Alright, they're just 4 middle yet again. I'm going to show up anyway, and it's going to be not the worst thing ever. Perhaps I should invest into... I mean, I have invested in the wards, but perhaps I should get them out a little bit more. When this is happening mid, which again is probably not going to happen in our games, but, you know, you want to put a sentry like here and here, control both sides of the wall to the best of your ability. But again, you know, it's 2 for 1 now, which isn't a good trade for us, but Huskar dies elsewhere on the map, so it's fine. They're using a ton of heroes. And guess what? Our Centaur hasn't done anything all game, which is good for us. He hasn't had to do a single thing. I literally forgot he existed until he destroyed that tier 1 tower. And I was like, oh yeah, we're doing great. Centaur is free farming during that. We're fine. So Roosie's gonna fake his animation a couple times there to try to get the tricks of trade out. It works. Honestly, letting us hit all of that was a little bit bad. I feel like I could have gotten my stun out to interrupt it, but really doesn't have a practical consequence. He gets an invis rune, but I don't think we're catching anyway, so I'm not even going to bother sentrying. Going to get my arcane boots. I'm just a big arcane boot fan. I think tranquils are just greedy. Like, I mean, especially when you have a heal built into your hero. I really hate when people go tranquils when you have a heal on your hero. Like, just get mana so you can heal yourself more, if that's what you really need. Here I see the guy in danger. At this point, I'm just helping with literally anything I can. Like, again, if I die, I don't really care. Good dodge by him. And again, look at this. 218 gold, even though we're ahead. No big deal. Like, I don't really care. Your life is worth the least on position 5. You give up very little gold in comparison to everybody else. So, whatever. I went for the help. It was probably bad, like, at the end of the day, but again, it's better to try than not to try. I didn't end up saving the Nyx at the end of the day because he kind of came back in to help me. So it was a 2-for-1 when really it could have just been the Nyx dying, and that would have been probably a little bit better for us, just because we were ahead. But always try as opposed to not try. I'm gonna ward behind here. Every time they deward this, you gotta reward this. Again, this is a very common ward spot. It's gonna get your courier killed constantly. Couriers are worth more than kills. It's insane. So here my team actually does something really good that in general teams are really bad at. So, and that is accounting for like poison or damage over time. So, and obviously I play a lot of damage over time heroes. So, I'm charged. Don't care. Like, I'm literally Witch Doctor. I'm completely ignoring Spirit Breaker because he's already charged. I do not give a fuck about him. It's all about the Huskar. He's dead. Now, I care about the Spirit Breaker. So I'm going to Maledict him. We get out, double edge. He's dead. At this point, he's dead. Our team doesn't have to do anything because he'll die to Maledict. So they completely switch off of him. And they're going to go onto the Grandma and the Ricky, which is hugely correct. Great job. Here I make a small mistake of turning my back for a quarter of a second. I don't know how that was still my back. I'm pretty sure I was turned around, but whatever. The back hit plus the Imp Claw crit was more damage than I expected, so I died. But who cares? Again, my life is meaningless. We got 4 of them. I don't care. So you are going to see me have 9 deaths in this game, but I am going to be 9 and 9. Like, the involvement out of our supports is, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's just straight up bad. I don't care if you die more if you're getting involved more. Like, anything you can tank for your team is good. Like, anytime your team has to be an unnecessary risk, especially during the early part of the game, because remember, this is like early. Not everyone has all their powerful spells and items yet. Yeah, late in the game, yeah, you might just like horribly feed and accomplish nothing. Even then, not always, but early into the game, prior to 20 minutes, anything you tank for them is good. They're going bottom. I'm coming to literally anything at this point. I will come to literally anything. I'm purposely going out here to feed because I want them to forget about my Nyx. I could have tried to juke, but let's be real. There's no way I'm juking. There's also a tower in deny range that, I mean, watching this now, I definitely am thinking about denying this. I don't know if I was at the time, but I think I was, because I was like clicking toward the tower to begin with. But yeah, I'm just going to go in and feed. Hopefully they don't find my Nyx. They do, but again, that was 4 heroes, or was it 5? It was 5. They sent fucking 5 heroes. Like, I really could not care less. Like, what did they get out of that? 500 gold. I don't care. I think they got just as much, if not more, farming on my side. And now I'm noticing that my Morphling has E-Blade, so I want to fight now. We have an early E-Blade. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push this out. I notice how I didn't TP here. That would have been really dumb. So you never know where you're going to be needed. So you want to save your TP when possible. So I'm looking at middle, and at this point I'm not going to TP because I'm like Centaur ulted, so I'm pretty sure it's the same time to walk here. And they end up like not really needing me, honestly. Why don't they need me though? Well, it's because I was feeding, and again, I wasn't actually feeding, like I'm 7, 7, and 10, but it's because I was making space, tanking everything for Morphling so that he has E-Blade early on. And look at how important that E-Blade was in this fight. Like, the Ricky just doesn't get anything off. He's not expecting it. Dead. Just dead. You never want to fight into area denial things when it's possible. You know, Monkey King ulti, wall, all that stuff. Just walk away from it. And we don't get the rampage, but we do get the team wipe. And it's pretty much just more of that. The Nyx Assassin here, I just want to show you his early movements because it's just obviously the go-to counter pick to Snapfire, which they pick Snapfire, so you're just like, whatever, just go Nyx. And as you can see, it countered the Snapfire pretty well. You've seen a couple Carapace cancels on the ulti. Just want to show you what the Nyx does early on. So again, he comes to this level 1 gank. Doesn't work. But nothing done, shooting, nothing gained. He's trading. At this point, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't stunned yet. You can't regenerate mana if you don't spend mana. I don't think there's any reason not to be stunning. I really don't think there's any reason at all not to be stunning. He's gonna stun now that the Centaur is dying, but like he wouldn't have been dying as hard if he used it earlier. The cooldown on this is 14, right? Yeah, 14. That is pretty darn long, honestly, but like it's not that long in the laning stage, at least. Nyx does have very good regen, so it's not the worst at trading, really. This lane really should lose. They do have both their highest MMR players in the safe lane, and Nyx Centaur's not that good. It's pretty good, honestly, but Riki Snapfire is also pretty good, so. Trying to interfere with these pulls. Yeah, and this, like I said, this area is just the fucking epitome of people feeding their couriers. Please, guys, just micro your couriers better than this. Super worth it. He TP's out. He buys a smoke already. Is he ganking mid? He is. 3 braces already is a little intimidating, but he is at half health, so. Alright. This is very important, guys. If you're ganking mid, you do not just walk into them. You know, unless it's like. Unless that's for some reason viable, like if they're insanely far ahead, but they won't be. Yeah, always want to come from here, here, one or the other. But he doesn't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work either. Like I said, 3 bracers is a lot, so he's going to give up. I'm fine with that. He does come back later and it succeed later. Okay, now he's going to come back. Again, he's coming around from over here. And now it's nighttime. That was very on purpose. He waited until exactly 5 minutes. That was not a mistake. And that's fine. It's like mildly favorable. The Huskar died first. He got the Spirit Breaker out of his lane. The Spirit Breaker probably does a little bit more than the Nyx in the lane. Both these heroes are pretty useless in the lane in this particular game, so not really a big difference there in their time. The fact that he charges in here really just shows how low MMR he is. And I believe he saves him with the bottle here. That was very nice. Yeah, he bottles him to save him from the spears. Fast forward through this a lot, get the runes. Always there for mid fights. And then I want to show you how he approaches ganks and such. This is that one where he gets the Great Carapace, and then just saves the Vendetta for the kill, as a matter of fact. That was the biggest buff about this hero, that this is pure damage now. It's actually insanity how much damage it does. So let's see what he does with his next ulti. I bet you he will do something. Yes, he's invisible already, and then he kills Huskar. It's also going Urn right away and actually using it. I forget what we ended up doing on our Nyx, but I remember us not using it very well. Again, this guy's all for dying as long as it's useful. That is just so common. Every time you see your cores have like few deaths and your supports have tons of deaths, like something was done right, almost for sure. I want to find the moment where we kill the Spirit Breaker with a Maledict from very far away. Oh, well, let's talk about how he plays this fight. So, and also how I play this fight, because this is very important. Getting out vision in the fight is just so important. It's like just as important as your abilities. So, you know, going up here, why are they? There's no way they'd be over here without vision, almost for sure. First thing I'm going to do is turn on my heal as soon as I'm out of this cloud, I guarantee you. I do. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ward. Correct. Boom. Immediately use the ward. But I know what's going to happen next. I'm not going to ulti because I know the cookie. Boom. Literally the millisecond cookie's done. I'm going to ulti. Not moving, I'm not moving, I'm not moving, I'm not moving. Rick killed me. Oh no. Just kidding. Who the fuck cares? He had to get in between my entire team to kill me. And I had my heal on the entire time. That is hundreds of HP. My heal stat at the end of this game is, I think, 6.9. This was a 28-minute game. 6.8. In our Witch Doctor game, our heal was like 4,100 in a 55-minute game. That means I'm healing at at least 3 times rate or so. That's not okay. It's you can do it too. You just gotta use your stuff. I did go Vlad instead of Glimmer in this game because we already have invisibility and like we have some high DPS heroes with low HP, so the lifesteal is gonna be very valuable. So that is gonna, of course, help me get even more lifesteal as opposed to like a Glimmer cape. Again, I'm all for builds like this, guys. Like this is, you know, a high average MMR game, and I'm not going Force Staff and Glimmer. I'm just going teamfight items because I think that's what we need. Like when I see you guys just not use your items right, like that's just net worth that we've destroyed. We've destroyed our items. That's what we did when we have net worth that we don't use. I'm fine with you guys going all passives. Like I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever you feel like you need to do. Alright, so yeah, this was the kill. So again, I'm gonna go for this. I don't get it. This was way below a 50-50, obviously, but I'm gonna go for it because my next is around. Ulti. I'm not gonna chase because I know I'm never gonna catch him again. I'm gonna walk backwards to make him feel a little bit more safe. And then watch this. This is set 6 times. Boom! Now they're dead because he gets in the next hit right before. And then yeah, we just win.